Hey, it's Chris here with your long weekend fishing forecast. That's right, long weekend coming up, and it's looking like a good one. We've got some really nice weather in the schedule, a little bit of an early taste of summer this week with some warmer temps, some great stuff going on. As a little reminder, before we kick off, we have the Fly Fusion Trout Tour coming up, film fest focused on trout. Some awesome films included in that one up in Elora, Ontario on the Grand River, May 26th. 2 p.m. Gonna be a great day. We also are combining that with our Trout Set Sunday, a bunch of free to attend, completely free to attend events throughout the morning with some demos and talks by local guides and experts, some casting games, some rod demos that you can come down, try out gear. Gonna be really, really fun. You can find all the details in the link in our bio and on our website. Now for your trout forecast, trout fishing has been spectacular. We're coming into later spring patterns now, which is really exciting because that means more bugs are on the menu. To this point, we really hammer on streamers and worm patterns and big junky flies fished in slow pools. They get the bulk of the big fish. This time of year, that stuff will still work, but you can start putting more of the dry flies, more of the natural nymphs on the menu, and those fish will start spreading out into new holding places too. So instead of just targeting your big, deep, tanky pools, start really looking at riffles and pocket water and just more spots to fish within the river. Those temps are at a more prime zone now for all species of trout, and so they'll feel comfortable sitting in almost any kind of water within a river. And really your main concerns are where is the food. So watch those bubble lines, watch those seams and different current lines, and try to infer where those fish might sit. They can be literally anywhere in the river, and they will be quite active. If they're in that fast water, it means that they are there to feed, which is really cool too. First drift through, you often get them. So on your list, we still have some of your early season bugs. There still will be some olives around. There still might be some Hendricksons here and there, but we're starting to see sulfurs on the Credit and other freestone rivers. We're starting to see caddis on some places like the Middle Grand, and we should see other bugs like gray foxes come online very, very soon too. Even some small stoneflies starting to come into the mix. So lots going on our trout rivers. The Grand has also been heating up. The Grand is usually a little bit of a slower fish at the very start of the season as it's still quite cold compared to the other rivers. I'm hearing more and more reports from friends of larger fish being caught and more numbers of smaller, freshly stocked fish being caught as well every day. So things are coming online definitely out there. Check out basically any of our trout rivers. They'll be in really good shape this coming weekend. For your pike forecast, pike, our last opener for the Muskoka Lakes, is this coming weekend. Everything else is already open and humming along. Basically, we've got two different things happening for pike right now. In our larger lakes, meaning Great Lakes, Lake Simcoe, larger inland lakes that are still a little colder, those fish will still be in very shallow. So look on sandy beaches and flats, things like that. Look at shallow, mucky bottom areas. Those fish will be post-spawn, in shallow, feeding pretty aggressively. It can be sight fished, a lot of fun there. And then in our smaller lakes that might be warming up a little bit, they might be retreating a little bit into slightly deeper water into weed beds. So if you can find some, they may be sparse, but some early growing weed beds, cast streamers over those, strip them more aggressively. Those fish will be even more active potentially over that middle depth kind of water in around that 10-15 foot mark, and hammer streamers are really, really fun to fish for as well. And then finally, we also have carp fishing starting up. So carp, they will be moving into the spawn soon. When they do that, they can be a little difficult to catch, but pre-spawn carp can be very, very fun to catch on fly. They tend to come in pretty shallow to start the year, and you can find them all around the city. So looking at Lake Ontario and the rest of the Great Lakes, Lake Erie, Lake Huron, Georgian Bay, those fish will be looking for warmer water. So if you can find creek mouths, river mouths, just the bottom ends of most of our steelhead rivers really, or any kind of sheltered water like bays, those fish will be moving in there. And then on your more inland lakes, they'll also be in the shallows, but they might be a little bit further along. You might find them dispersed along the shorelines instead in these really isolated warm water areas though. Bring your waders out, water's still chilly, and just wade and watch for fish. Take your time, spot fish. You try to find active feeding fish. Drop some kind of crayfish, a leech pattern. Honestly, a handful of woolly buggers is a great place to start. And these fish can be a very, very fun time to fish for. You're sight fishing potentially 20, 30 plus pound fish. It doesn't get much better than that. So check out carp fishing on the Great Lakes, in around Toronto, and on your inland lakes as well. As always, swing by the shop. We'll be happy to help you get set up for success this coming weekend. We hope you have a great long weekend.